Here's what we're going to say to you today about the real estate information. We're going to talk about compromises that you should never make when it comes to purchasing a home. When it comes to you buying a home, again, we say it many times, and I'll go through this quickly, but we say many times that when you start on the process, you go down the road, you're doing that thing that you're going to buy you a house, excitement sets in, and it needs to stay that way. It needs to be a very exciting time, a fun time, all those things. But a lot of times you get so excited that we literally lose our mind. Right? We literally forget why we're doing what we're doing. Right. So we're going to give you today what we see as is some of the top things that people compromise on when they're purchasing a house. So we're telling you, be careful that when you get in this arena and you begin purchasing
don't get wrapped up.
Don't get wrapped up in it that you fall into these traps. And then after you sign your papers, you're in the house, you've moved in, you're thinking, oh my goodness, we compromised on this area right here, and this really isn't what we want. Very important step, very big step, very serious thing when it comes to purchasing a house. So you want to make sure that you do it right, and that you again have the information that you need to do that. So we're going to talk about 4 compromises today that you shouldn't make. Here is the first one, okay? You should not fall in the trap of buying a fixer-upper style home. A lot of people look for fixer-uppers, man, because they think they can save some money. Right. And that usually is the case. A lot of times. You usually can in some situations. Right. Depending upon the work, the fixer-upper work that it needs, you typically can buy one that needs a bunch of work more than you can a turnkey job. Right. However, we see mistakes made because people will buy the fixer-upper when they need a turnkey job. Right. All right. Now, I'll just go with me right here, okay? Because this is me talking about me, because this is literally the truth, and I think it is for a lot of us. I would be totally okay buying a fixer-upper. I would totally be fine doing that. Right. However, I'm not the kind of person that could buy the fixer-upper and be the person that fixed it up. Right. I could see the potential. I could look and do all those things. I could say, oh yeah, this would be cool. This would be all this. But I can't be it fixed up. My family, because of, again, our schedules, our situations, when we go for a house, we probably need to buy one that we can move in. Right. Just move your stuff in, be done. And we're living. You know what I mean? We're there. Right. We're done with it. There are a lot of people that needs that turnkey, be able to move right in, and again, put your pictures on the wall, make a little change or two here or there, and they end up buying a fixer-upper.
Not the ones you see on these TV shows where you're going in and remodeling and tearing out walls and everything
100%. Yeah. So again, if your family is in the situation of you need a turnkey, move-in ready home, don't get caught up into, but I could buy this one and do this. Right. Now, totally 100% on the opposite side of that. There's 2 sides to every story. If your family is in the okay situation where you can purchase a fixer-upper, don't compromise and say, well, I just paid more money, and I'll buy one that's already fixed up. I'll move in and whatever. Right. Because sometimes you can save that money. Absolutely. Especially if you're able. That's why I said this comes to me. You can hire anybody to do anything. Right. But I can't do that. But if you're the type of person, or have that type of person, again, at your disposal, so to say, that you could buy that fixer-upper and move in, you're probably going to be able to save you a little bit of money if you can get that fixer-upper.
Right. You're going to get there's a good chance you can get a nicer house for a whole lot less money by going and doing the work yourself.
There's no doubt about it. So again, compromise number 1.
But again, think about that before you go into it and say, can I do this or not? You need to know. Because once you buy it and you're like, oh man, we've moved into this and I don't have time to do anything. And now we're sleeping on floors that dirt floors or whatever.
There's a lot that needs to go into consideration whether you do that. Right. There really is. Yes, so you need to. Why we're telling you this is because, again, when you take off, usually you fly. Right. You know, it just goes quickly, light speed. So you need to make sure
I can do this.
That all of that's thought out and you know what you're going for before you ever start. We're talking today about compromises. We're going to give you 4 of them. There's probably many more, but we're going to give you 4 of them that you should be aware of that you don't need to make when it comes to purchasing your home. Number 1 is buying a fixer-upper when you really need a turnkey, or vice versa. What do you got for number 2?
Number 2 is the floor plan, and not just that it's got an open living room and a kitchen. But I'm talking about bedrooms, bathrooms, storage, whatever you want to say. If you need a 4-bedroom house, you need to try to find a 4-bedroom house. Yes. If you need
hold out.
If you need a 3-bedroom house, don't go buy a 2 and say, well, have somebody, old Junior, sleep out here on the couch.
On
that works for a while.
That
works for a while. But eventually old Junior gets tired and he wants to come in the house because he's tired of sleeping out here with the coons and possums.
I agree, man.
So you got to let him in.
Sure.
So again, look for stuff like that because again, that's one of those things where a lot of times somebody's going to compromise. It might not be a bedroom thing, but it's that I see people that like women will do crafts. They need a quilt room or a craft room or whatever. People sell. Just the other day, I saw a guy. I was telling Dad yesterday. He sells stuff on eBay, and his whole basement is just full of stuff that he sells on eBay. So he needs storage. So when he goes, he has to have that.
Sure.
So if it's stuff like that you have to have. Don't settle and say, well, we can make do with this for a little bit. We can do this, do that. Hold out. You don't never know. Tomorrow might be the perfect one coming on the market.
I agree.
4:00 today, the perfect one might come on the market. But a lot of times, people will jump. They'll pounce on the first thing and say, oh, we can make do with it.
Sure.
So don't do that.
And again, we see a lot of times as the number one reason why people are selling their house in the first place.
It's no longer functional.
Is because it's not functional. It doesn't, that floor plan that's in that home that is currently there, it's not functional for them. Whether they need more space, less space, another bedroom.
Again, a lot of times you'll see couples, they buy a house, they're okay with a 2-bedroom.
Sure.
And a kid comes along, now we need, then another kid comes along.
Sure.
Now we need more bedrooms. So again, stuff like that. Again, you can always move up, but I'm saying think about the big picture before you just jump.
The point is, you don't want to move in and have a need. You know what I mean? You don't want to move in a house and say, well, we needed 4 bedrooms, but again, as you said, we're going to just put 2 in this room and 2 in that room. And again, that might work for now, but them kids is growing, them dogs getting bigger, they need a bigger yard. All those things, you got to think about that before you do it.
Right.
So compromises that you need to be aware of that you probably shouldn't make when it comes to purchasing a home. We've been through 2 of the 4. Here's the third one. This one's a big one, okay? Be very well aware of this one in relation to everything. This one probably needs to be high on your list. You do not need to compromise your budget.
Right.
Whatever it is that you know on a monthly basis you can afford. Okay? Do not compromise on that. Here's what happens. Again, the excitement goes, you find the house, it's got the floor plan, it's turnkey job, and it's $80 more a month. Alright? It's $80 more a month than what you were really wanting to spend. Right. And then you begin saying, well, I could not eat out here. Right. I could do that over here. I could save a tank of gas here. And you start looking at things that you could cut. Now, the possibility is, yes, you can cut those. Mm-hmm. But the probability of you actually really doing that over a long period of time is slim to none.
Right.
So, again, whatever your budget is, and you really want to break that down more than the total purchase price of the home budget to what's it going to cost me on a monthly basis to live in this house, because there's more that goes into the budget than there is just that payment. There's electric, there's gas, there's water,
you gotta mow the grass,
all of those things that go into owning a home, the insurance.
You see this a lot coming from a rental, somebody who's rented
into
now they're going to buy their first house.
Yes, absolutely.
Because again, it's excitement. Yes. There's a lot going on, so everybody is encouraged.
Right.
Go get pre-approved.
Right.
I make sure I tell everybody, don't tell the lender what you're okay with.
Sure.
So,
but you got to be real, man.
You got to be real. That's what I told him. I said, you got to be real at this point.
Yes.
Like, what are you legitimately comfortable with paying every month if you had to pay it for 30 years?
That's exactly right.
What are you going to be comfortable with?
Because,
again, old saying that's been around on this show since day one is house poor.
That's right.
So you do not want to be house poor to where you pay your payment. You can't go on a vacation. All your friends are going on vacation, posting pictures at the beach.
Heck, you can't even go get you a hamburger. You can't even go get you a hot dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want to get in that situation.
Yeah.
And again, we see that happen sometimes, and that's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
So why are we standing here in front of this camera telling you? Because we don't want to see other people make the same mistake. We learn from mistakes that's made, and we want to give you this information so that now. That's another thing why it's good. Just a total plug for real estate agents. And I'm saying real estate agents right here at Elite Realty Group, or a real estate agent that you're working with or your family's working with, you need to have one that keeps you grounded, man.
Right.
You need to have one that's going to be very upfront, like we're saying to you. Now, wait just a minute.
Yeah.
You told me you needed this. You told me you could afford this. We ain't going down the right road.
Right.
Because one of the worst things that we can get that call as an agent is say, hey, man, I got to get out of this house. I'm 2 payments behind already, because you try to stick it out, you try to make it work, and you get those payments behind, and then something bigger ends up happening. That's what we don't want to happen.
No.
That's what we don't want to see happen for you. So again, that's why we're standing here today telling you about these compromises that you should not make when it comes to purchasing your home. Number 1 is buying a fixer-upper when you really need a turnkey. Number 2 is don't compromise on your floor plan. Number 3 is do not, for any circumstance, compromise on your budget. And what do you got for number 4?
Number 4 is your commute time.
Location.
Yes, that's everybody knows that is a big one when it comes to real estate, is your location.
Absolutely.
So again, you hear this, I see it daily. People's like, okay, I really need this area.
Right.
Really need this area right here, whether it's for school, whether it's for work.
Right.
Well, I mean, school, you got to go to your district, but a lot of times it's for work. Mm-hmm. So, but I really need to be in this area because I don't want it more than a 20-minute drive to work.
Sure.
So we look, can't find anything. Mm-hmm. Our borders start widening. They're like, well, let's do this. It's 45 minutes.
Sure.
I mean, I'll be all right with that.
Right.
Well, now we're at an hour.
Right.
Hour and 5 minutes. Well, I mean, I can live with that. And you can. There's a good chance, again, the excitement's there. There's a good chance you're going to live with it for a while.
Right.
About year 5, year 6,
right,
you're really starting to think, oh, God, I got an hour and 10-minute drive to work.
I agree.
It gets old. So don't, again, a lot of times people compromise, jump in. You get that call, hey, man, we need to sell this place because I'm getting tired of making that drive to work.
Not only with the time that you give it, but again, we talked about budget just a few minutes before this. Again, if
more gas
money, if you are transporting your kids to school, you're going out of district, which sometimes is possible to do. You're spending that money. If all their sporting events, if your church, if whatever, your social life is in a particular area, and you're constantly having to drive that back, now you're spending more money than you really wanted to spend to do that. So it affects your budget.
Right.
It throws everything there into a fray so that it's not a good thing for you to do. So again, we want to try to let you stay grounded. We want to try to give you this information. We want to try to put this out on the table because purchasing a home needs to be, should be, and will be, if done correctly, one of the most exciting things that you ever do. Mm-hmm. Because again, you're getting your forever home, you're getting the place you're going to make memories with your family, with your children, with all of those things. So you want it to be right. Again, you don't want to move in those places, if at all possible that you can keep from it. Move in and immediately start having a need, or worse than that, second thoughts of, did we just do the right thing?
Did we mess up
here? You see
here?
this stuff. Why are we saying this to you today? Why this show and why here and now? Because with the market in our area as it is right now, home inventory being down, people are compromising a whole lot more than we have ever seen them compromise.
Yeah.
They are compromising. And again, they're getting into things that they really didn't want to get into because the inventory is down. Hang out. Hold on.
Yeah.
The one that you want, it will come, it will happen, but sometimes you got to show a little bit of patience. Sometimes you got to use just a little bit of common sense to make sure that you get what you need.
Yeah, and again, I mean, there is different circumstances. Like you said, some people may be in a rush. They have to. They just have to do something right now.
Right.
So that's different circumstances. But if you're not in that great big deal of a hurry, I mean, don't just rush into it. Put a little bit of thought in this right here. And again, like you said, that's where having a good real estate agent is going to help you to try to keep you like, now hold on a minute, let's talk about this. Because this is not what you said you was looking for.
Keep you grounded, man.